Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another bite-sized content videos. The second video of the channel. How are we feeling today? All right. If you're having a bad day, hopefully this video can make your day better. Now let's get right into the video. So this video is about a Karen who stole me and my friend's skateboard. I'm not gonna say my friend's name, but we're just gonna call my friend Jackson. Alright. So this story starts on a Saturday afternoon when me and my boy Jackson, we were just trying to have a normal day at the skate park. We finished all our work, we did all the other stuff that we had to do, you know, we did all our chores. So now it's time for me and my bro to chill out at the skate park. And I wasn't the best at skating, I'm not gonna lie. I was mediocre at best. I could do ollie, kickflip, if some of you even know what that stuff is. I could do a few grinds on the rails and stuff. That's really it. But we were doing nothing crazy, just two dudes and our boards and a bag of Sour Patch Kids. And Jackson had got his brand new skateboard that week too. It was a pretty nice skateboard. It was like a Baker skateboard. If I can, I'll put a picture up there. And I mean, like, that skateboard was clean. It was a bright red deck and he had a new grip tape, fresh bearings, the works. But my board, on the other hand, looked like it had survived 3 world wars, man. It had chipped paint, the tail was cracked, the wheels making that squeaky noise every time I tried to ollie. But, either way, I love that thing, man. So, we rode up to the park and, it could tell that it was one of those afternoons where the vibes were just right. People were practicing tricks. There's that one dude in his Trinities who's way too good to be still at this park. And the air smelled like Monster Energy and broken bones. And me and Jackson, we claimed a little corner. We sat down our backpacks. We started warming up with a few tricks. And, we were just chilling. But of course, because it's of because it's us, peace never lasts long, man. Wherever we go, trouble follows somehow. So around 20 minutes in, we're vibing. We hit a few tricks, posted a few videos, took a few videos, and this woman shows up. Now, let me paint the picture. She was the definition of a Karen. Like, if you Googled Karen starter pack, her face would pop up. And she has giant sunglasses that covered half of her head. And the hair had way too much hairspray on, with a huge purse that looked like it weighed more than her. And the type to walk up and say, I'm about to ruin somebody's day. And you know what she was about to do? She ruined our day. And you could feel the bad energy before she even said a word. And at first, we just kept skating, hoping that she was just walking by, but no. She stopped right on the edge of the park, arms crossed, watching us like we were hardened criminals. Like she was just looking at the inside of a prison, like we were just juveniles, man. And my boy Jackson, he noticed first and he nudged me like, yo, that lady's staring at us, and I brushed it off. I mean, people stare all the time, man. But then she started walking over, and that's when I knew we were about to have one of those Karen encounters. She comes right up to us and she says in this voice that sounded like a teacher scolding kindergartners, "You boys shouldn't be here. This is a public park." I kid you not. She said, "You boys shouldn't be here. This is a public park." I don't understand what was going through this lady's mind when she was saying that, but she had to be on something. Mary Jane, you know, she had to be off a little bit of that sniff, if you know what I mean. But nonetheless, at first we were confused. Like what? Public parks literally mean everyone can be here. But she said it like we were trespassing. I don't know how to explain it. So Jackson tried to be polite, and he was like, ma'am, this is a skate park, and we were just skating," which only made the woman more upset. And she goes, "Skating is dangerous. You can hit somebody. My tax dollars pay for this park, and I don't want to see reckless behavior here." Wait, let me try to say in that little Karen voice. Skating is dangerous here. You can hit somebody, and my tax dollars paid for this park, and I don't want to see reckless behavior here. And I swear, at that moment, I almost laughed. Because behind her, this kid tried to drop in and completely wiped out. I'm talking about he ate dirt, man. It was bad, you know. His helmet was flying off, his board shooting in the sky, and she didn't even look at him. She just kept glaring at us. You know, it was like one of those stares when you broke something and your parents are about to whoop you. So we figured out if we ignored her, she'd eventually leave. So we were just skating away, doing our own thing, and I could feel her eyes burning in the back of my skull. But I said whatever, I didn't really care. But here's where it gets wild. Jackson set his board down on the ground and goes to grab a sip of water from his backpack. And he's like 3 steps away from this Karen. No hesitation, she walks up, picks up his brand new board, and tucks it under her arm like it was her purse. And then she starts storming off towards the parking lot. And I wasn't expecting it. I was like, "Whoa, what's going on?" So, I froze for a second. I was like, "Whoa, did that really just happen?" My brain couldn't process it. And Jackson turned around mid sip, water bottle still in his mouth, and he just choked. Yo, saying, "Yo, she took my board." So, we sprint after her as any good friends would do. And Jackson's panic, that board was his pride and joy. He saved up all summer for it, so we catch up and block her before she gets to the lot. And I'm like, excuse me, that's his board. You can't just steal it. And this woman, dead seriously, looks at us and says, I'm confiscating it. You boards are a danger to the community. Like, who even talks like that? Confiscating? She wasn't a cop. She wasn't security. She was just some random lady with too much confidence. Way too much. And Jackson, he is getting heated. I mean, you could basically see the steam coming from this guy's ears. And he is like, that's my skateboard. I paid for it with my money. Give it give it back. He reaches for it and she literally yanks it away, holding it tighter. And with this little smug voice, she says, Don't you touch me. I'm taking this to the authorities. And at this point, the people around the skate park start noticing. Obviously, you see this woman holding a little kid's board, talking about, "Oh, I'm confiscating this." Obviously you're gonna look. So everyone, it's not like a little crowd that's forming around us, but it's somewhat of people looking. And a couple kids, they obviously stop skating to watch. And some older dude sitting on a bench pulls out his phone and he is like, "Oh yeah, I'm recording this one." And the whole thing turned into a mini spectacle, man. So I tried to reason with her. Look, lady, you can't just steal someone's stuff because you don't like skating. That's theft, obviously. I tried to reason with the woman, but obviously with Karen's reason does not work. And she snaps back saying, "You boys should be grateful I'm teaching you a lesson." Jackson is fuming. He is on the verge of putting his fist in this woman's face, and I wouldn't be mad at him if he did. His face is red. He's pacing like a bull about to charge. I knew if I didn't step in, this was going to turn into Canvas Teenager WWE edition. So, I switch tactics. I look at her and I go, "Ma'am, if you don't give us the board back right now, we're calling the police. And just so you know, they're not going to see this as confiscating. They're going to call it robbery, highway robbery." And that word must have hit her because she froze for a second. She glared at me and Jackson and the people recording, and you could see the gears turning in her head. She did she really want to be the star of a viral video? Probably not. Who would want to when she is in the wrong? After a long pause, she finally huffed. She was like, "Fine, take it, but don't come crying when you break your neck." So she shoved the board back at Jackson like she was doing us a favor, then stomped off to her car. and the whole park just we just went quiet for a second, you know. Then everyone started laughing, you know, clearing Jack, clearing. I'm sorry, cheering, clapping, you know. And Jackson held up his board like he just won a championship. And you know, so we spent the rest of the day skating like any other normal day at the skate park. But every time we looked over our shoulders, we half expected her to come charging back like the final boss. Like she just recharged her power. Now she's coming back for a second fight. But she didn't though. She just drove off and probably went to yell at some different poor child. And later, Jackson swore up and down that if she had gotten away with this board, he was gonna track her down. He was gonna track her down and put her in a full Nelson. And honestly, I believe him 100%. You know, so this whole lesson has taught us something important. Karens are everywhere, and they will strike when you least expect it. But if you stay calm, stand your ground, make sure people are watching, you'll be fine, bro. You know. So, and that's the story of how me and Jackson almost lost a skateboard to a rogue Karen. So please tell me how this video was. Drop a like, drop a comment. And I'll see you in the next one, man. Stay up, stay blessed. That's all.